Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, mic check. Hello, hello, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to hashtag TNT JoeFi Tech News that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. I am your host, Jerome Ortega. Today is Wednesday, October 28th. We have a busy day today. I have a busy day today. We're a little late today because I was actually editing or putting together this camera comparison. Last time with the Pixel 4a and the iPhone 12 Pro, I kind of put a video together, but what I'm doing today is I'm just going to show you like the editing software that I use, which is Premiere Pro, and we're just going to do the camera comparison that way. And then after this stream ends later tonight, I'm going to post the actual like full results so that you can see it like in full resolution. Because I know that there's an issue. Obviously, when you're streaming, you're not going to get the full look of the photos. And I was actually trying to put the stream at 1080p right now. And for some reason, the software isn't letting me. So it's fine. We're gonna go through it we'll see if it works this way. But before we get into it, let me say hi to everyone. Jason Lim, yo. Head on in phone and fam. What's going on, Jason? Brian's in here as well. iPhone Jerome battle. We'll see how these two phones compare to each other in the camera department. I haven't watched any reviews or other camera comparisons except what we've watched publicly together. But these are my results, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. I honestly, I've just been putting everything together, so I haven't even had a chance to really put all of it together just yet. Oh, William, Maya, how's it going, man? Welcome. Baron of Gray Matter is in here as well. Howdy, campers. How's it going, Baron? How's it going, Ed? Welcome. Falling Wickets, lots of trash cans, space for all those empty phone boxes. Are we talking about, was it my thumbnail? Was it because I was standing in an alley? I think that's what you mean. Falling Wickets, what's going on? The Woo. Jerome Ortega. What up? What up, peeps? Woo! That one was better than usual. Manuel Esparza. Hello, everyone. How's it going, Manuel? Welcome, welcome. Oh, where am I at here? Did I miss? No, I didn't. Lou 247. What up, all? Or what's up, all? What's up, Lou? How's it going? Welcome. Edgar, hey. Happy hump day. Happy hump day, Edgar. Six is in here as well, but on Twitch. What's going on, Six? Welcome. Gilio Jax, what up, everybody? What's going on? Gilio Jax. Manuel's getting his Pixel 5 today. You know what? I think Will was messaging me too. I haven't. There we go. Got my Pixel 5, Best Buy on point. I'm not picking mine up until tomorrow. I have to pick it up from Best Buy because I was worried it wasn't going to get delivered on time, but it looks like it's coming early for some people. That's nice for you guys. Not so nice for me. But tomorrow I'll do an unboxing of the Pixel 5, even though some of you have opened it and gotten it, and there have been 8 million videos about it already, but that's okay. I'll give you my thoughts and my feelings on the Pixel 5, and we'll be unboxing that tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Tech for your needs. Hello, folks. How's it going? Tech for your needs. Welcome, welcome. Will says top speaker muffled. Not good. Thanks, Will. Thank you, Will. Piotr. Hi, Jerome. How's it going, Piotr? Welcome, welcome. Javon says, I'm buying both the OnePlus N10 and N100. Psych. Just playing. What's up, Jerome? What's up, Javon? I was going to say, were you really going to be buying that? Piotr, tomorrow. My Pixel 5 is coming tomorrow. Aiden says, the iPhone 12 has a report of the finish of the stainless steel chipping. I've heard about that or read about. Did my skin goddamn light? I got to fix this webcam. Will says the texture on the back is barely there. Okay, so maybe not much of a difference on the Pixel 5 or the green Pixel 5 and the black Pixel 5. Good to know. I'll give you guys my thoughts tomorrow. Gandek, what's up? What's up, Gandek? How's it going, man? Welcome, welcome. What am I looking at here? Sorry, I'm like moving because this arm for the mic is in the way. Tech for your needs says the only thing I bought this year is the iPad Pro 2020 and Magic Keyboard, and I'm done for the rest of the year. Yeah, after I get this Pixel 5, I'm going to be done for the rest of the year, for sure. Well, for 2020, it's almost the end of the year already. Are you getting the Pixel 5 or 5S? 5S? Some comparisons are showing there are slower versions of. Oh, great, great. That's lovely. I haven't heard about that, but. Okay, let's get started. We're going to talk about, oh, I see Mario. Hey, Mario. Hello, Jerome. Flossie Carter said the speakers sound fine on the Pixel 5. I think that's going to depend per person. Mario, welcome to the stream, by the way. But I'll give you my thoughts when I get it, and then we'll go from there. So here's what we're going to do. Today, we are going to compare my 11 Pro, which is here, with the 12 Pro. We're only doing a camera comparison today, just comparing the photos of the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro. If any of you have been thinking about upgrading to the 12 Pro, if any of you are still considering getting the 12 Pro, or even if you're thinking about getting a new 11 Pro, but getting it at a discount since the 12 Pro is out, or if you're even just thinking of getting a 12 Pro Max because you don't think either of these are worth it, or maybe you just want to come here and watch, we're going to go over that today. Now, we're going to kind of do this a little different. Hopefully, I can get this right. So I need to use, this screen here is just my software, my editing software, which is, I can't even, it's like hidden behind, which is right here. So I'm going to be using this on my other monitor. I actually need 3 monitors to properly do this, but we're going to do it this way and see how this works. So we're going to go ahead and get started though, but hopefully this works because I can barely see chat at this point since I have to like move shit around on my end here. So everything with the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro was taken by hand. There is kind of a good amount to go over because I did testing with the telephoto lens, portrait mode, wide angle, night mode with wide angle. Am I missing something? Ultra wide. so on and so forth. So we're going to go ahead and get started though. And this is the first shot I took, right, of the 11 Pro and then the 12 Pro. So luckily, since I'm using my editing software, I can kind of just like go back and forth here. So if you look, right, it looks like the 12 Pro and the 11 Pro look similar, except the 12 Pro shows a little more clarity, especially like right over here in this area. Once I go back and forth, a little more clarity, not by a ton. The 12 Pro does look a little warmer, which is something we've been talking about a lot lately. By warmer, a little more yellow, a little more orange, while this 11 Pro looks like it has a cooler tone to it. But the 12 Pro does look like it has a little more clarity. If we go side by side, you can see that here. Again, not the biggest difference in the world, but something to note at least. So if we move on here and we go to this crop, you can see they both look similar, but the 12 Pro looks like it has a little more detail, or it's removed whatever haze or whatever is here on the 11 Pro. It's not by a lot. It's not by much. If anything, both of these are quite comparable. If we even zoom to this other part here, both of these look a little similar. You'll see, again, this looks a little more yellow than what I'm seeing here. The text here looks pretty much the same too. There is background noise on both, but not by a lot. I still think both of them look fairly similar. All right, so let's move on to this next set. I have a lot of photos to show. So this is the wide angle shot, ultra wide shot. And it's the same shot as what you saw here, right? That's why it says main up here. I haven't put the video together yet. So I'm going to take this entire video and then I will post it later for all of you to see, you know, just to kind of go over it later on. So once we move over to the ultra wide here, you'll see the 11 Pro with the ultra wide, the 12 Pro with the ultra wide. And if we kind of go back and forth, this has a more obvious change to it. At least I think so. So while I go back and forth, like over here on the 11 Pro, this looks quite blue. And it also looks like there's still a haze there. And I think the one big takeaway I got from the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro is the fact that the ultra wide looks like it's the biggest upgrade from the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro. At least that's how I'm looking at it. In terms of clarity, like this looks a little softer, right? Compared to what you see here. This has more detail. You see it in the brick. You see it even here in the banister with the leaves while I go back and forth. And then side by side, again, this just looks like there's a little more detail. The thing that kind of bothers me though is it does also look like the 12 Pro might be over sharpening just a bit. But this is something we've talked about already on the 12 Pro. As we go through other photos, we're gonna kind of see more of that as well. So otherwise, both of them, I mean, I prefer the ultra wide on this 12 Pro over the 11 Pro. I did take a crop here, and you'll see a lot bluer hues and a softer touch over here compared to what you see on the 12 Pro. It's weird though, because like you can kind of make the leaves out a little more over here when it's not here, but this is obviously more of a clear shot than what you're seeing on the 11 Pro. All right. Moving on to the next set. So this is one of the sets that I had that looks almost exactly the same. So when I go to the 11 Pro here and the 12 Pro here, and I kind of switch back and forth, they look fairly similar. Detail might be a little different, but nothing crazy. And then when we go side by side, again, they look pretty similar to each other here. No big differences, at least from what I'm seeing. Next set. Okay, so this one I took with the 2x optical. I didn't take many with the 2x optical. I should have, but you know, whatever. So the 11 Pro with the 2x optical, and then the 12 Pro. And again, if you notice, the 12 Pro just has a bit more clarity. You can see that clarity over here. You can see background noise up above here. And then when I move into the 12 Pro, you can see this is just kind of like cleared out. Everything just looks a little more clearer. It does look like there's a little more sharpening, but I like this shot over what I'm seeing on the 11 Pro. See, it's this weird haze that's coming over here on the top left. And I'm not seeing that on the 12 Pro. You can see the detail in the brick, but again, I don't know if it's just better detail, better clarity, or a little over sharpening on Apple's part. When we look at both of these shots here, I mean, they're still both good shots, but nothing too crazy except this being cleared up from here. I did take a zoom of this as well. And you can see though, the detail. So there is some noise. There's a little grain here on the 11 Pro, but you're not seeing that on the 12 Pro, or as much of it on the 12 Pro. It's not bad. At least the one thing I was worried about was the 11 Pro and 12 Pro were going to have no differences between both of the phones in terms of the photos, but there is quite a bit of a difference even in these day shots. You can see it even if you look at the dark spots over here on the 11 Pro with this pumpkin, and this is a lot more defined on the 12 Pro. You can see it here in the eyes of the pumpkin as well, and this gourd or whatever. Anyway, the detail is obviously a lot. The detail is obviously a lot more clear on the 12 Pro. All right, next shot. So this is another wide lens, ultra wide lens shot. And I don't think I took a regular shot of this. No, just the ultra wide shot. I forget, after using my Pixel 4a for quite some time, I forget like a lot of architecture in Chicago. Sometimes it's hard to take the entire shot without an ultra wide, and the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro are both capable of doing that. So 11 Pro here, 12 Pro here. And if we go back and forth, again, you can see a little more detail in the building, right? It's just a bit softer on the 11 Pro than the 12 Pro. And then if we go through both of these shots here, again, they look similar, but there's just a little more clarity in the 12 Pro. If we go to zoom in, you can see that here as well. If you look at the detail in the building itself, the church itself, if you look at the lettering here, this is just the shadows are darker. There's a little more contrast, and the detail, like in the brickwork, like look at this top left here, you don't see anything. And here, at least you get some semblance of that. You know, you get that in the details here with the window as well. So again, the ultra wide lens of the 12 Pro looks like a pretty good upgrade, at least from what I'm seeing now. And then another zoomed in shot here. Again, like a bit of a haze, and then a little more clarity on the 12 Pro. I also noticed here at this Luther Memorial Chicago.org, there's a bit of like I guess it's also a haze, but it looks like it's even coming to the point of turning a little purple here in the lettering, while this is just a lot more clear. Okay, next set. 11 Pro, this is actually a pretty good shot here. And then 12 Pro, right? Comparable for both. Not much of a difference there, which is actually surprising because I thought there were going to be a lot more. I thought it was going to be a lot more comparable. Like I wasn't going to find many differences, but it seems like a lot of these shots that I've taken at least are showing quite a bit of difference. But here's another set, 11 Pro, 12 Pro. Not much of a difference between the two here. Look pretty similar to me. Moving on. Again, another ultra wide shot, 11 Pro, 12 Pro. So the one thing I've noticed as well is the 11 Pro will tend to fisheye a little bit when it comes to the actual shot. like it kind of like curves on the outside, and it looks like the 12 Pro has fixed that, or at least a little bit of that. So you can see here on these corners of the building, it kind of curves a little bit. I have another shot that kind of like really points that out, and the 12 Pro just seems to flatten it out. So when we look at both here, similar a bit, but the detail on the 12 Pro is just there, just a bit more. At least I think so. I didn't do a zoomed in shot for this. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. So here's another ultra wide shot, right? The first thing that we can take a look at is the reds in this shot. So you can see the red is a little, it pops out a little more on the 12 Pro compared to the 11 Pro. But do you see the fish eye thing I'm talking about? Look at the top of this building here and look at how it kind of like curves in. And then on the 12 Pro, it straightens out, it flattens out. Do you see that? So some things to note. And then again, like you can see it here. Like it's a lot more obvious here. The whole building kind of like curves in, where on this 12 Pro, it flattens out. The reds are, it pops out a lot more. I would imagine the 11 Pro is a little more natural than what this 12 Pro is showing. I mean, I pass by this all the time and it's a pretty damn red color, but I don't think it's this, like, it pops out this much. Sorry, let me go through some of the chat just real quick here. I know you guys are talking about the Pixel, which is great. But again, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Krishna, how's it going? Jerome, which of these two are the closest to accurate colors? So Krishna, I feel like the 11 Pro is probably going to be more on the accurate side. The 12 Pro is punching the colors just a bit, maybe a little more than just a bit. But I think the 11 Pro still has the more natural colors despite having a little more grain in the shots. And yeah. I know the Pixels tend to pull out an accurate shot and lose that oomph, but out of these two, which ones are more accurate to real life? I would, at least from what I've done so far, it looks like the 11 Pro is more accurate when it comes to real life colors. The 12 Pro is adding a little bit more. It leans more on the warmer side. I think the 11 Pro is more of the accurate shot color-wise. Yeah, Bear in a Gray Matter. Yeah, the 11 Pro for sure, I would imagine. Paul, whoops, wrong one. Nick, I'll get to you in a second too. But Paul, but Jerome, keep in mind, almost nobody got two phones side by side, be it iPhones, Pixels, or whatever. So in my opinion, there has to be a big noticeable difference between the two models. Otherwise, the costs aren't justified. I get that. Totally get that. And that's kind of why I make these tests as well, just to point out what the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro has different between the two, which is why I did a test on the Pixel 4a and the 12 Pro, because here's a $350 phone versus a $1,000 phone. This is only like a small bit of this. We still have to get into night shots. We still have to get into ultra wide. So I totally hear where you're coming from. And I do this so people can at least have some like idea of, hey, is it worth buying a 12 Pro to upgrade from the 11 Pro? For most people, probably not. For some people, maybe. It really depends. I also have to still test video and all the other stuff that goes along with it. But let's go ahead and continue on. Nick Coletti, how's it going, man? That wide angle curve fix from Apple is software only, doing their usual gatekeeping, quote unquote, features to new devices. So that doesn't surprise me either. I know this is something that the 11 Pro could probably, or Apple could probably fix in the 11 Pro, but they're probably not doing that. They probably know, and like you're right, the quote unquote gatekeeping. They're like, oh, you want to get that fish, like that fisheye curve out? Well, you got to get the 12 Pro. We could probably fix it in software, but we're not going to do that because you got to get the 12 Pro. Anyway, Nick, how's it going, man? Will, everyone hit that like button. Thank you, Will. Yes, if you guys haven't had a chance, please do me a favor, hit that like button. It does help the stream. Appreciate it. All right, continuing on, let's get to the next set of shots here. So we're going to move into portrait, or at least some portrait here. So in this shot, like this is a portrait shot for the 11 Pro, but it looks like it didn't really do much bokeh, right? And then in the 12 Pro here, you can see the bokeh effect is a little stronger. Not by a lot, but more pronounced than what you're seeing on the 11 Pro. In a lot of ways, when I look at this portrait shot on 11 Pro, it looks just like a normal shot. There is maybe a little bit of background blur, but not a lot. Compared to the 12 Pro, even the 12 Pro doesn't have a ton of background blur, but it's more noticeable than what you see on the 11 Pro. The one thing I noticed though, is if you look at the head of this guy here, whoever this guy is, I have no idea. Just kidding. So if you look at this head here, there's a bit more detail here than the 12 Pro. So you can see that they started to blur up above here. And then that blur though, looks like it continues here. Like if you look at this top half of his head, it looks more detail on the 11 Pro. It's as if they didn't get the bokeh completely correct. So if you see side by side, again, this looks like there is really no background blur, while you get more of an effect here. Oh, there you go. Salua. That's right. Buddy is his name. I totally forgot. Yes, Buddy. So looking at Buddy's head here, it's more detailed than on the 11 Pro than the 12 Pro, at least in this set of shots. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the next set here. These actually, I like these. I thought these turned out pretty well. So the 11 Pro, the 12 Pro, and when I kind of like go between both, I don't see a ton of difference, at least from what I'm seeing right now. Not even in color. In color, they look pretty similar. This green on the 11 Pro looks a little darker than the 12 Pro, and maybe because it's warmer, it's trying to like throw up the shadows a little bit, but that's about it. And then compared, when you look at both, the background blur looks similar. There isn't much of a difference here. So there are going to be some shots that look similar to the 11 Pro than the 12 Pro. Again, this is kind of like, is it worth spending that extra money? Is it worth getting the 12 Pro over the 11 Pro? That really is up to you. So here's a portrait shot of me and on the 11 Pro, and then with the 12 Pro, brighter. This is something that we've been talking about. Is the 12 Pro just brightening up the shot overall? And I really didn't notice that in the other past shots I've taken so far, but right now, this is the first time I'm seeing it here. So 11 Pro, 12 Pro. And then compared to both, you can see my skin tone is lighter. The entire shot is brighter. If you look at my sweater here, this is much brighter. And then in terms of like the actual like blurring around the sections, so this looks pretty good. There's like a small issue here, a small issue by my ear, and then this doesn't get blurred here in between my arm and my sweater. On the 12 Pro, this looks like it's a little bit better. Those issues aren't as apparent, but also my head isn't in the exact same spot, but it looks like they've learned to correct this space in between my arm as well. They've learned to add the bokeh there. Is it going to be perfect overall? I don't really think so, but it's a small, at least upgrade from what I'm seeing so far. And then on the 11 Pro here, you can see there is a little mishap over here by the tree. And then as I go around, it doesn't look that bad. This looks a little off over here, but otherwise it looks like a solid shot. Looks like a solid shot with a good like background blur, except for some of these little mistakes. And then on the 12 Pro, so just a little bit here, so my head moved. So that tree trunk that was behind me isn't showing anymore, but otherwise it captured it pretty well. This issue on my hat isn't here. That was showing again on the 11 Pro. These though, the lighting looks really similar between the two. The other one tried to brighten it up just a bit, but maybe because it was darker over there. Brian, how's it going, Brian? T-Rex don't do push-ups. You goddamn right, Brian. How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. I can't pronounce this. I have Dejuma. Am I saying that right? Ausman. But 11 looks better because 11 has real colors. And like I was saying earlier, the 11 does have a bit more accurate color, real life color than what I'm seeing on the 12. It's a little surprising that Apple has decided to kind of like turn up the contrast, put more of a punch in the color, something that I wasn't really expecting. Damn, the iPhones are really catching up with the pixel photography. I agree. iPhones always had darker shadows and killed some detail, but the 12 is actually pulling some data from the shadows this year. I hear you, man. I hear you. Wisdom says the 11's better. So again, like this is your time to kind of go over this and decide like what looks better to you. I mean, we haven't even gotten to night shots yet. So we still got to get through that. But again, here you go side by side. Again, you see a little of a mishap here. But there is a bit of a mishap here right by my ear. And this also looks like it's just a tad off, but otherwise they both look really similar. They both look really similar. All right. Here's another main shot. This is just, you know, I was taking a ton of pictures. So I was just going through both and you'll see here, this actually looks a little bit cooler in the sky. This a little more blue on the 12 Pro than the 11 Pro. But you'll also notice the detail. Look at the detail around the building here. Look at the brick over here compared to the 11 Pro. There's a little more detail. The contrast is a little like up. In terms of like the blue and the yellow, they both look similar here. It doesn't look like it's punching it out more. Although if you look at the red over here, this punches out more than the 11 Pro. Right? But the detail on the 12 Pro is showing more. And it's something that I've been noticing in a lot of these shots. If we go side by side, yeah, they're minute differences, but obviously there is a little more clarity. There is a little more detail on the 12 Pro. All right, moving on to the next set. I don't know when we're getting into night here. So here is an ultra wide, right? Ultra wide shot. Again, the ultra wide lens on the 11 Pro just doesn't seem to be on par with the 12 Pro. As we move on to the 12 Pro, you'll see that the 11 Pro has kind of a haze. It does look like there's a bluish hue to it, even purple. Like looking at the tree here, this looks a bit purple. When we go back to the 12 Pro, it doesn't have that. The 12 Pro though looks like it's completely like the contrast is so turned up here. It looks like they've decided to completely over sharpen the 12 Pro shot, like really over sharpened it here. But if you were to pick one, which one would you pick? Because I prefer the colors on the 12 Pro than the 11 Pro here, because this just looks like it has a bluish purplish hue throughout the entire shot. And then if we compare the two, you can see this just looks like I don't know what they did. Dial the contrast up to 12, dial the sharpening up to 12. It's way, way more than I'm looking for. But if I had to pick, I would pick really based on the color here. So again, this is the ultra wide. What I ended up doing though, right? Was it for this shot or no? Yeah, it was. So if you look here, right? If you look in the background here where I'm circling and back here, there were people playing football in the park. And I ended up doing a 10 times zoom here. So if you look at this 10 times zoom, you'll see here with 11 Pro, right? It's not bad for a shot that's all the way out this far, which is over here. This is what you get with a 10 times zoom. And then here's the 12 Pro. Again, over here is where I zoomed in. That's the shot. Now, if we go side by side, 11 Pro, 12 Pro, 11 Pro, 12 Pro. It's a huge difference. There is a big difference there between both of those shots. The 12 Pro obviously is the clearer shot. It looks like it's just better. But the thing that kind of bothers me with the 12 Pro is the fact that it just looks like it's sharpened so goddamn much here. Like I can see maybe different shadows or whatever on the 11 Pro, but the 12 Pro really dials up the contrast. You can see this is wet over here. This, you're not even sure if you're able to tell. Like the whites look more natural than what you're seeing here. But again, there's just a lot of contrast, a lot of over sharpening on the 12 Pro. Again, this is the ultra wide or the ultra wide. This is the telephoto zoomed in 10 times. So it's not like most people aren't shooting this close, but I figured we might as well share since I was doing testing yesterday. And then I have another 10 times zoom here of the 11 Pro. I don't have the full shot. I was like, you guys don't want to see the full, but whatever. 11 Pro, 10 times zoom, 12 Pro. Now, if you want to talk about, if you didn't believe that these photos are over sharpening, here is a great example. Again, 11 Pro, 12 Pro. It's just like this looks more natural than what I'm seeing here. Like this is just like, okay, you're overdoing it at this point. If you look at both, you'll see like, yeah, it tries to like, the color might be off on the 11 Pro, but this is just like, dial it down, Apple. It's way too much. It's way too much there. All right. So just an FYI, just so you see. Yeah. I always take photos and then zoom 10 times. Yeah. I've never edited a picture in my life and I've taken thousands on. Oh, are you guys talking about something else? I'm just like trying to like keep up with you guys, but trying to share my thoughts as well. Yeah, I see that Apple hasn't figured out the cloud sky shots in direct sunlight yet. They haven't. And it's like lucky. Apple is lucky that I haven't. Today we have a sunny day, but I haven't been able to take shots. Today would have been a great day because we have blue skies and we have the sun out, and it would have been a good way to show the issue with lens flare and all that kind of stuff with the iPhone. They both look like a drawing. Yeah, I can see that, especially with the way they've sharpened shots. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead now and we're gonna like dive into night. Yeah, I was right. So the 11 Pro main shooter, 12 Pro. Again, 11 Pro, 12 Pro. The 12 Pro is obviously the brighter shot. It looks like it's also the warmer shot, a little more yellow again. And then if we look at both, so here's the thing. I really wasn't able to notice anything until I really like tried to like pixel peep and zoom in. So the white here on this no turn on red looks a lot whiter than here. Again, more on the warmer tone, more on the yellow tone. The lights. So this looks like it's overexposing just a bit more than the 11 Pro, but I think they do that because they're trying to brighten up the shot. This is brighter overall here. Again, you guys know, or at least I've explained how I feel when people over sharpen or people over brighten night shots. I don't want it to be so bright that it doesn't look like a night shot anymore. Obviously, this still does look like a night shot, but in a zoomed in shot here, there is quite a bit of difference. Look at all of this grain. Look at all of this noise on the 11 Pro. And it's a lot more settled with the 12 Pro. Now, is this a software thing? I don't know for sure. They could have just decided to like smoothen everything out. And maybe that's what they're doing here, but it looks like they're at least able to control some of that noise. If you look at the writing here, this actually says Garcia's Restaurant. And if you look at this 12 Pro, you can see there's like this really like black, like even black dots worth. It's as if it's trying to like, I don't know what it's doing, but it's more apparent on the 12 Pro than the 11 Pro. But again, like you can't take away the fact, or you can't unsee the fact that there is a lot of noise in this shot. Okay, next set. 11 Pro, this is the other side because this is Garcia's Restaurant right here. 11 Pro, 12 Pro. Again, 11 Pro, 12 Pro. I can tell you right off the bat, I prefer the 11 Pro. The 12 Pro looks too bright for me. It even looks like it's too yellow for me here. So this is what I mean again. It seems like it's brightening the shot for the sake of brightening the shot and no other reason. It just seems like it's taking it up a bit more than it needs to be. And then if we compare the two, again, they're similar, but I would prefer this shot here. than what the 12 Pro shows. Again, 11 Pro, 12 Pro. All right, moving on. Now, here's an ultra wide shot. Here's one of the big differences that if you're looking for an ultra wide camera that can do night mode, Apple isn't going to give it to you with the 11 Pro. Even if they're able to, even like what we were saying earlier, even if they're just not doing it because they want you to upgrade, the 11 Pro will not do night mode. Here's the 12 Pro with ultra wide. That is a huge difference between the two. This 11 Pro is a soft shot, like soft. It's like muddled. It doesn't, everything just seems to blend together. The 12 Pro is just a much better ultra wide shot. And then if you look between the two, I mean, it's just obvious. It's just obvious. Okay. So this is just me walking a little further down the street here, but again, the 11 Pro with the main shooter and then the 12 Pro. So here we go again. This is me complaining about the 12 Pro being too bright. It's too goddamn bright. The rent is too goddamn high. This shot is too goddamn bright. The 12 Pro is just coming up way too much here. This is like, again, for the sake of brightening up a shot when I don't think it really needs to be that bright. If we compare the two, I still would take this. I would take the 11 Pro, even though it's a darker shot. This is just too much here. So it really depends on the person. Maybe if you prefer this, if you prefer this just being way brighter at night, it's not appealing to me. It's not for me. I would rather get what the 11 Pro shows me here. All right, next set. So again, another ultra wide angle. This is something you're going to see a lot of because this, to me, I feel like is the biggest difference so far in my testing with the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro is the ultra wide sensor. If the ultra wide is high in your priority and you need it to be super good or at least better, the 12 Pro is going to give you the better shot. So here we go with 11 Pro and then with the 12 Pro. 11 Pro, 12 Pro. You can also see that that fisheye, and actually, hey, Daniel, how's it going, man? Welcome. Photos. Yes, photos. Somebody mentioned it. I keep saying fisheye. Somebody was talking about barrel distortion, which is another great way of putting it. Was it Fear the Rue? Yeah. Is the barrel distortion worse on buildings and architecture-based subjects? Trees and landscapes don't seem to have that problem. Is it just me? Actually, that's a good point, Fear the Rue. Maybe it's more just buildings and not trees and anything else. Maybe it's just the architecture. But if you're someone like me who lives in a city that has tons of buildings everywhere, no matter where you go in Chicago, it's going to make a difference. So let me get back into the software here. And then if you look at the ultra wide shot, so you can even see the blacks are a lot more deeper on the 12 Pro than the 11 Pro. You can see a lot more noise, but look at that distortion. You'll see that distortion here on the left side, and it looks a lot more straight and upright on the 12 Pro. And then again, night mode on the 12 Pro just does a better job than what you're seeing on the 11 Pro. Again, the ultra wide lens. All right, moving on. 11 Pro in this alleyway. This alleyway was pretty dark. And then 12 Pro, you see me bending down here, taking the shot. So here again, this is where I'm going to kind of give my 2 cents. I prefer the 11 Pro shot here. I prefer the 11 Pro because the 12 Pro is getting a lot brighter than it needs to be. These are both already very bright shots. They're both already bright. Why are we going to even go brighter? If you want a real comparison, here we go with the zoom shot. Well, here's the two. This right here, this is where I decided to zoom in because you can already tell this is already overexposed. It's already blowing out the lights there. And if we look in here, it's just why? What is the point of doing this? Why are we going to brighten up a shot for no reason? The 11 Pro is already goddamn bright. If you look, there is a light right here. This is a car that's here. This would have, imagine if this car was here on the 12 Pro, would have even made it worse. I prefer the 11 Pro over the 12 Pro here. I can only imagine if I had my Pixel 4a, I think the Pixel 4a might have taken it better. Maybe. I know the 4a has issues as well. I just there's a time and place to brighten up a shot. I just think it's a bit much. I think though, at least on the Pixels, you can actually use the slider to control some of that, which will be helpful for people who actually want to be able to do that. But I just wish that there was a good auto place for that. So again, here is the same shot, but with ultra wide, 11 Pro, 12 Pro, 11 Pro, 12 Pro. This might be a little brighter because there was a train like quickly coming by there. But if we look at both, it is a huge difference. The 12 Pro, if you're deciding to take an ultra wide shot, is going to give you a much better looking picture, or at least in terms of light here, because that 11 Pro is almost useless at this point. Brian, with the $1 super chat. Brian, thank you so much, man. Thank you for the, god damn it. Oh, my phone almost dropped. All right, I gotta put this on silent. This is the last day my Pixel 4a is going to have a SIM card in it. This is going to be replaced with my Pixel 5. Brian, thank you so much for the $1 super chat, man. Always appreciate your support. Always helping offset costs. Always showing up to the streams. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's move on to the next set of shots here. So the 11 Pro, this actually was a really good shot. I was like, yeah, I came out really nice. And then the 12 Pro, 11 Pro, 12 Pro. So if we look side by side, they look pretty similar to each other, except this is pulled up more. The shadows are pulled up a little more, but even under this porch here, it's not as red or orange or whatever color this is. It's the 12 Pro is just trying to brighten things up. I do have a zoomed in shot here, but for the most part, they look pretty similar. If you look over here at this very bright spot, you can see it is turning a little purple though, and you don't see that on the 12 Pro. Otherwise, similar shots, just the 12 Pro trying to push it up a little more. Okay, wide angle on the 11 Pro. At this point, it's pretty redundant, a lot of this. 12 Pro, ultra wide. And then the 2, I think these last shots were just like fillers that I put in here just in case I needed anything. These are very similar to each other. And then another ultra wide, 11 Pro, 12 Pro, and then both of them together. And yeah, that's all I got. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take all of those shots. I'm going to like put them together, finish the video, and then throw that out there so you guys can take a look at it for yourselves and, make whatever opinions and judgments you want on it. But I wanted to take the time and just like share what I had, share it with you guys, and give you an idea of what the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro looks like. At least for now, from what I'm seeing on the 12 Pro, the 12 Pro's biggest benefit over the 11 Pro is the ultra wide lens, both in day and night. It looks like the zoom, I don't know if that's really been improved. It does look improved a bit. Maybe I'm going to have to do more testing to really see, because I only took 2 shots zoomed in, and then the 12 Pro looked really over sharpened. But that's something that I've noticed too. The 12 Pro, while there is a little more clarity, while there is a little more detail, the 12 Pro is kind of over sharpening more than I'd like. It might be dialing that up too much where it's like, okay, this doesn't look right anymore. For people, again, who were talking in chat, the 11 Pro does look like it still offers more natural colors, but does that outweigh everything else you're getting on the 12 Pro? So we still have to test video. That's something I'm going to be testing later on. Video stabilization between the 11 Pro and the 12 Pro, audio, video colors, night mode or night video at night, etc., etc. Okay. Daniel with a $5 super chat. Have the pandemic phones been noticeably different than other years? Also, best phone so far this year. The pandemic phones, like you mean phones for 2020? The only difference in 2020 is we've decided to do mid-range phones. That's where a lot of manufacturers have decided to really kind of like double down on their product, is to make phones around the $400 to $600 range. Obviously, the 12 Pro is not. It's a $1,000 phone. The best phone so far this year, at least for me, is still my Pixel 4a. It's not like the best phone in the world. It's not the fastest phone in the world, but at $350, it's the best bang for your buck phone for me. I know you're a Samsung guy, so if you're looking for a new phone, I've heard a good amount of things on the S20 Fan Edition. Although if you're able to get an S20 Plus, right, because they have good, Samsung always has good deals. They always have like huge discounts here and there, but yeah. Otherwise, actually, you should, because I don't know how big you are on the camera, Daniel. I don't think you are. I think you're more of a like media consumption, more of a performance guy. Like, I don't think the 4A would be suitable for you, but I think you would appreciate a OnePlus phone. I think you would definitely appreciate a OnePlus phone. I think. Anyway, Daniel, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for helping offset costs. Thank you for showing some love. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you as always. I may need to consider that my phone battery, or I may need to consider that my phone battery has started draining extra quick in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, maybe that battery's done, or maybe it's on its way out. I honestly, if camera's not your high priority and performance and media consumption and battery charging is, I would look at a OnePlus 7T. You can get that phone right now for $400, and I think you'd be happy with that phone. I would look into that, and at $400, because I think price is on your priority list as well. I would take a look at that. Krishna says, Jerome, have you seen my retweet on Twitter about OnePlus? Is that topic under your radar already? No, I actually spent the entire day putting this camera comparison together, so I have no idea what's going on at this point. What's going on with OnePlus? We have like 10 minutes here. So I'll have some time to talk with you guys about a lot of this. Hi Kunal, how's it going? Pixel 5 is a great phone, but I think it's overpriced for the hardware it provides. I agree, Kunal. I agree, 100% agree. I'm still getting the Pixel 5 because I buy all the Pixel phones. Like, if you're new to my channel, Kunal, I have a 4A, I have a 4. I'm picking up my Pixel 5 tomorrow, and I'm going to do an unboxing tomorrow on the stream. So we'll talk about that then. But I think the Pixel 5 is going to be a great phone. It's not going to be a perfect phone. It has a lot of downsides to it, but that's also why I say the 4A 5G is probably going to be the better choice. With their 30... What's going on, Robert? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Krishna, unless you meant that retweet was just about their N10 5G and the N100, those are phones that like I talked about yesterday, but nothing I'm like too thrilled about. Lou, what up, Jerome? What up, Lou? How's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Although I think I said hi to you already, didn't I? So anyway, yeah, that's really about it. I'm gonna like take this video that I like did now, and I'm gonna put it into an actual just like watchable form in 1080, so you guys can like sit and watch that if you'd like, compare for yourselves and be like, yeah, this is what I want, this is the better buy for me. Krishna says, no, it's about the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro. No, I don't know anything about the 9 or the 9 Pro. Let me check your... Did you retweet me? Did you notify me on that? No. Oh, there you go. It just came. Here we go. Let me share this. We might as well, since I have like 5-10 minutes. According to, all right, OnePlus is dumping the market with release after release. Thoughts on this? Do you think OnePlus is going to be the next Samsung? So, yeah, I've said this quite a bit, Krishna. Like, I don't like this move. I don't. We've talked about it also just in chat in general, that OnePlus is just turning into. I was thinking I was going to say Xiaoma from YouTube, the white guy who speaks Chinese. Why am I forgetting the company now? Xiaomi. They're turning into like that. They're just going to have a ton of phones. Did my phone just ring? What was that? Anyway, I swear I heard a ringing somewhere. Anyway, yeah, I'm not down with that. I don't like that OnePlus is just making 8 million phones, and I just think they're completely abandoning their user base. I really wanted OnePlus to be that company that was just going to make one great phone year after year, make it so that most people could enjoy a well-performing phone, right? Performance-wise, stock Android-wise, great battery, but they're not doing that now. And that's why yesterday I was making fun of the N10 5G and the N100, saying, like, because, it says never settle on their phones. And it's like, no, you're settling. I get what they're doing. They want to hit different markets or whatever, but it's not something I'm looking for. I actually, to be honest with you, OnePlus isn't on my radar the same way as it used to be. OnePlus, I think, can still make great performance phones, and if you can get them for a good price, that's great. But like, I was hoping that they were going to keep the prices low. I thought they were going to really like improve on their cameras, but I haven't seen that either. But I haven't bought one in a while. So yeah, I haven't heard much about the 9 or the 9 Pro or what it's going to be offering, but yeah. Jerome is stroking out. Probably. I wish a phone maker would make a phone every 2 years, focus on perfecting the software. It's not a bad idea either, man. Too many models create confusion in customers. They do. And that's why I get mad at Verizon all the time, because they make their own stupid version and add UW to it. And then it's just like, okay, well, you're just confusing people even more. Do I want a Pixel 4a 5G or a Pixel 5 or a Pixel 4a 5G UW or a Pixel 4a? Which one should I buy? Oh, how am I going to figure out which one is which? I'm not a tech person. Do I have to watch 8 million YouTube videos? Do I have to read 8 million like articles? It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Obviously, we don't care as much because we nerd out about it and we know enough about it that we can like sit here and discuss, but it's not for everybody. DJ Gamer, hi from India. Hi, DJ Gamer. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Robert says OnePlus is becoming one multiply. I like that. One multiply by with all their phones. Yeah, too many goddamn phones. Even though I know the OnePlus 9 and the 9T or 9 Pro, like, it doesn't excite me. I'm not excited for that phone unless something is going to be spectacular with the camera. But even then, they're completely changing their UI. It's not going to be stock Android like it used to be. So it's just like, I'm like, oh, whatever. Will says, no, they go to the Verizon store and buy what, quote, the man says. You're probably right. I mean, a lot of people do. Think about everybody that goes. I know people who go to the carrier store, like an AT&T or a Verizon or a T-Mobile, because they don't know how to remove the SIM card out of their phone, or they're afraid of taking the SIM card out of the phone because they're afraid that it's going to mess up their plan, their pricing. It's going to mess the phone up. And it's just like, if only we could like share this info with everybody. It's like, dude, just take the SIM card out. It's going to be fine. Unless you're Sprint, or at least I know that's how Sprint used to work. Because last year I sold my iPhone XS, and the person I sold my iPhone XS to, because I had an unlocked version, had a Sprint iPhone. I don't know what iPhone model it was. But when he took that SIM card out to put it in his unlocked iPhone 10s that I sold him, it didn't work. He had to call Sprint and get shit like unlocked from the other phone. And I was like, I didn't realize some carriers do that shit. I'm quite thankful for at least T-Mobile not doing that, because I would probably rage if they did that shit to me. That's not something I'm not something I want to deal with. So at least, well, I don't know. I don't know where carriers are going to go in the future, if it's going to get worse or better. It looks like it's going to get worse. The fact that Apple sells their unlocked phones now for $30 more doesn't make sense to me either, but what are you going to do? So anyway, that is TNT Joe-Fi for today. Guys, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Daniel, for the super chats today. I appreciate it. If you guys are new, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. It does help support. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I stream weekdays at 2 p.m. So I'll be streaming again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Otherwise, that is it for today. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to be picking up the Pixel 5. I'll be unboxing the Pixel 5. I'll give you my thoughts, share my feedback, all that stuff. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Have a good one. Bye.